Ladies and gentlemen, the Wrestling Fans Podcast Ringside Society proudly presents to you Lariats and Legacies. What we do here is we find the loved one, the relative of a professional wrestler who has actually given us many matches and memories, have them on the show and have them share their experiences about growing up with that legend that gave us so many great memories that we actually grew up with, not personally, but watching them on TV. So with that being said, in the first corner we have the monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she goes on crazy misadventures such as shopping for DeLoreans to go back to 1885 to find freshly churned butter, dressing up as one of the Road Warriors, and picking fights with random people, and also threatening to dress up as the big boss man and give me and Rob hard times. Kathy, I don't know why you do this to me. Louisiana's own Kathy Nice. And the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young lady whose father gave many people hard times in the ring. It didn't matter where they came from, they did not want no smoke with this man, even on 420. I know I have actually dubbed her the boss lady. Everybody, welcome to the show, the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer, former WWE Hardcore Champion, and former WWE Tag Team Champion, the Big Boss Man. Everybody, welcome to the show, Lacy Traylor.
Woo! Wow, you're good at that, man.
I try. It's a little bit of Howard Finkel, some Road Dogg, Jesse James, some Justin Roberts, and I just, try to loud yell and hope I sound good. So, but thanks.
Love it. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
No
It is an
problem.
honor.
No, oh no, it's an honor to have you on the show because when I started wrestling, your dad was actually wrestling too, and I was like, I would never forget the first time I saw this guy. Man, he brutalized those guys in the ring. He would handcuff some of them to the ring, to the rope, and he hit them with the nightstick. One time I saw him actually take a ball and bounce it off a guy's chest, a big chain ball. I'm like, oh, that guy is scary. And then I find out he's a good guy. I'm like, yes, he's a good guy. That's awesome. He's a Hulk Hogan. It's a great thing. So thank you very much for doing this for us, Lacey. We really
Of
and truly.
course. Of course. Yeah, I mean, that it's like I was born in 92, so that was really in between, I guess, like the WCW shift. We grew up, it was like, I think it was Nitro actually that was going down in Orlando when I was younger. So those were some good times, some interesting times, especially when I go back, and watch it as an adult. I'm like, wow. I mean, some entertaining stuff because it took me a really long time, actually, to be able to enjoy wrestling like I do now.
Okay.
So it's been really fun to go back and watch old matches and talk with people, about it. And it's really nice, actually. Like, I love it. I love wrestling, and it's nice to be able to, like, feel that, I guess, to be past, the point of, it being too emotional or whatever. So I'm really enjoying it, getting caught up on all the old stuff and seeing how much things have changed and the industry has changed between then and now. So it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it definitely has because I started watching in 1990, and when I was like 6 going on 7, and then like I remember seeing your dad, Hulk Hogan, and all the others do their thing, and then I noticed the sudden change from that to because it went through many eras. There was a new generation era that was led by Shawn Michaels and Diesel, or Kevin Nash, and then you had the Attitude Era, which your dad came back into,
Hmm.
he had a bit of a resurgence, and then there now I guess there's I don't know what this era is, but it's I, I guess it's whatever. But yeah, that was yeah, it's definitely changed a lot, and it's like any other industry, it's there's changes bound to
Right.
happen. So I gotta ask you, what was it like growing up the daughter of the big boss man, the man that used to carry the nightstick? And I'll always remember that song when it said, I think she said he carries a nightstick, a ball and chain too. What was it like growing up with that man?
I tell you what, I never got bullied. So that was one pro. So never experienced that. But I mean, he tried to like when I was a kid. I don't really think that I understood like just how big a face that he was to people. I mean, we spent a lot of time when he was home going to visit injured kids and just being super involved with the community. But he tried to like in elementary school, he actually had to come. This was, I think I was in third grade when the pepper incident uh, was a thing. So like he took extra care to like come and be involved with the school, and just kids just loved him. He was just a big kid himself. So it's funny because my best friend, she had a younger sister at the time, and he went to put her on his shoulders, but there was a drop ceiling. And when he picked that little girl up to put him on his shoulders, her head went straight through that drop ceiling. And he was like, okay, I can't do that anymore. But just like silly stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of my old classmates, when I talk to them, like they still remember, him sitting in the car rider line with the door open and his feet propped up out the window, and he was himself all the time. Um, and that's something that I really appreciate, seeing. I mean, of course, he was the heel, he had his character, but he was himself um as much as possible, I guess. And growing up, with that, it was like I was very shy. So I didn't like, attention. Like I didn't want like I didn't like being late for school, like to walk into the classroom and like everybody be watching you like as you come to your desk. So that was always interesting. I think it was in like fourth grade, I ripped my pants in PE, and Dad and Rick Steiner came to pick me up, and I tell you what, they gave me the hardest time. And but looking back, it's hilarious because like how lucky was I, and I just had no idea. But they made sure to have a good time all the time, which has kind of turned into a mantra for me in my life. Have a good time all the time. So it was
That's
definitely interesting.
that's great to hear. Now I may be wrong, but I heard a rumor that, or I think I may have read somewhere that your dad was actually a correctional officer before he got into wrestling.
Yeah, he was. He worked for he actually did work for Cobb County, and he was a corrections officer. And a crazy story is my boyfriend actually found out he was working with a guy who was in Cobb County jail while dad was a corrections officer. And he said he was just the nicest guy, that he was everybody's favorite prison guard. He is just a big softy, so that like I love hearing stories like that, and just the little connections that he's left for me. Like even though he's gone, it's like I'm always learning something new or hearing something new, a new story, which is, you can't put a price on that. I feel very blessed for that. But it was crazy to meet this guy who was in Cobb County Jail, while dad was the prison guard, and hear him say all these awesome things about him because, you know, cops don't have a great rep, and a lot of times that's reasonable, but it's yeah, that was true, and I think that that really played into like the archetype of that character. Like there's sort of like a mythology to wrestling, right? Like um it was him, like how do you say, him times 100, right, to build this character. So I think that's why it was just so natural for him, and he was great fan, he was a great athlete anyway. Like he held records at the high school. He actually he got a scholarship to play football for Tennessee. I don't remember which college up there, but that didn't last too long. He hurt his knee, and then yeah, he came back down and was working as a corrections officer. And one day, his boss called him into his office. He said, "Look, you're either a police officer or you're a wrestler." And Dad said he sat there for a minute and handed over his badge and said, "I guess I'm a wrestler."
But that worked out for him though, because then he ended up working for NWA and
Hmm.
UWF, where he would actually win. I think it was the TV championship from his future tag team partner, One Man Gang, who I once mistook him for, because when I saw the first Survivor Series, I'm like, "Yo, that's Big Boss Man." My cousin was like, "No, that's One Man Gang." I'm like, "They look kind of similar." And then lo and behold, like WrestleMania 5, 1989, they would end up teaming up as, the Twin Towers, and
Hmm.
they had a classic match, in my opinion, against the Rockers, which they won. And it worked out for him, and he's actually, like, I enjoyed watching your dad wrestle. I enjoyed watching him fight. That man knew how to tell a story. I would never forget, one of the greatest feuds I ever saw him in was him and Nails. And what was going through your mind during that storyline? You probably saw it. You saw when Nails attacked him, and that was that
People
was a
really thought we got letters. I mean, people really kayfabe was different back then. Like they they really thought. I mean, and they say wrestling's fake. Like you really get hurt. I mean, the fans really were moved by that. We got a lot of fan mail, like well wishes, and like that was that was always a hard part. Being like the kid of a wrestler who takes like hits like that. I mean, it was scary, and I also, I didn't really understand at the time that, because I knew that's Dad. Like, what is he doing up there? Like, it was strange, a strange feeling. Um, but it's like I was born. Like I said, I was born in '92, so a lot of that stuff, I never even saw until I was, going back to look on my own as much older. So I just, I understood um, kayfabe and that they gimmick stuff, and that sometimes the gimmicked items don't work, or there's stuff that really happens and you really get hurt. I saw him in a lot of pain, a lot, and that was always hard. Um, because I mean, he's a big guy and he took a lot of hard hits. Um, so yeah, that was when I was very young, but I remember like even my they were writing my grandma, asking about him and worrying. So I'm actually I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch all of that from the beginning, because with my son who is 8, so it's about that time I've been trying to introduce him to stuff because he's taken an interest in it. But it's cool because a lot of those like iconic matches. I grew up with the Steiner family, so Braun Breaker, now NXT champ. The last time I saw him, he was telling me that during training they were actually watching some of my dad's matches. to learn from. So it's just really cool. And I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but yeah, that was when I was super young, and all I remember is like there were so much '90s wrestling merch. You know, they had the video game, and I mean, I it took me a long time like to really understand his profession and the whole like the industry of it. So,
Yeah, I could
um,
only imagine. I
but
could
yeah,
only
I'm
imagine.
definitely gonna have to go back and watch that.
I could only imagine what you were thinking because I remember one of the most controversial moments in WrestleMania history. Your dad versus the Undertaker, and the Undertaker hung him like he had him like. And I don't mean to go back to that, but
No,
that
you're
part,
fine. You're fine.
that because if I can tell you right now, if that was my dad, I would be like, Dad, you can't do this. Like, nope, nope, you're not going back in there. You're going because the man
He
literally like,
definitely had to. He definitely. We had a talk before any match, you know, and about because it does never goes exactly as planned, right? Because
yeah,
things happen and you got to feel for the crowd. But the Undertaker was my favorite wrestler.
I
So I loved him. I had this, me and my sister would literally fight over our one Undertaker action figure. And we were driving home one day and she and I are in the back seat arguing over this Undertaker action figure. And he just like leans his hand back and he's like, let me see that real quick. So we handed it to him and he just boop, threw it out the window. Because he was
wow,
sick of hearing us arguing about it. And like, we were just like, you just really do that? He ended up having to go back and try to find it because he felt so bad. But yeah, that was wild. But I mean, like, there's ways you do stuff. Um, it's you train like, for example, like pretty much, yeah, as early as I can remember, he taught us like, how to get choked out. Like he would pick us up by our necks and you just hold on really tight. So we would be in like the grocery store and he'd be like, "Hey, let's do it." And like he would like pick one of us up by the neck and be like, "I told you, you better listen to me right now." Just to mess with people or for his own his own entertainment. So we were always having fun with that, and he was teaching us, you know, little tricks. So it was a good time. But yeah, that was actually, I've read that that was like the worst rated WrestleMania match or something. So that always makes me laugh too.
to me, to me, it was a great match. It was a great match because Undertaker and your dad are both great performers, but it was just like we really couldn't didn't have to do that ending. He couldn't he just like do something else, like put him in a coffin like he normally does. Like you have to like and for those you wonder you could for those of you that are wondering, watch them. I don't want to go back into what it actually happened because me being a 16-year-old kid at the time was like,
It was
are you
hardcore.
serious?
That was
No,
hardcore. Yeah. I
but
mean, I wonder whose idea that was. Probably both of them.
I yeah, that was something.
Yeah. That
So
was
you said
sorry.
you go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead. I was just carrying on.
I was gonna say, so you said your son is showing interest, so we might be seeing Little Boss Man real soon. I just gotta ask you, what would your reaction be if he he grows up years later and he's like, Mom, I want to do the same thing Grandpa did. I want to go in the ring and mix it up. And he's doing the nice stick twirl and everything. Like, would you be like? No, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get a degree, and you're gonna become an accountant or something? Or would you be like, okay, yeah, let me call up one of your dad's friends. I guess your Uncle Rick, and see if he can have you in the ring and see what you can do.
Oh man, I want him to do whatever fulfills him. I mean, college, if he wants to do that, then I'm 110% behind him, I'll be his manager, but I think he would be good at it. He's not shy like I was, so trying to teach him that fake slap so he can try that out in public place, like I told you better listen to me, and little whack him across the face. He's very dramatic, so he'll fall on the floor like, oh, that hurt. Like he could do it. Um, and it really what's crazy is because he knows. I mean, he was with me during like all of the Hall of Fame stuff. He's been to some matches, but I think it really hit him when Bronson got in. Like he would rather watch Braun Breaker over Grandpa Ray any day. So that's always funny. But yeah, he I would love for him to get into it.
Yeah. Did you ever think about getting into it yourself? Maybe carrying on, your dad's name.
Um, I feel like if he were alive, I would definitely be in it. Dustin Rhodes, has offered to train me. I still probably could. I mean, I I would have to hit the gym pretty hard, but I'm strong. I played sports. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I actually have become good friends with David Benoit, because I mean we grew up together, and we won't go like off into that, but I'm really hoping he gets into it too. So even if it's just like an indie thing, it would be fun to give it a shot, at least once or for a little bit. So
You know,
it's definitely something on the table.
yeah. Hey, I gotta say, Dustin Rhodes, he has a great school down in Texas. We've only interviewed one of his students, but I gotta say you say you were born in '92. There are women
Hmm.
that are your same age that are just starting out. As a matter of fact, I don't mean to put her business on the street. I hope she doesn't come for me, even though she's one of my favorites. But a certain young lady whose dad used to have this sign and used to do moves off the top rope started when she was around your age, and look at her now.
Oh,
I'm not gonna call any
see,
names because, like I said, I don't want nobody coming after my head over the race. Never mention a woman's age, but yeah, um, yeah, Kathy, I know you know who I'm talking about, and I know you know who I'm talking about, Lacy, because I know your dad shared the ring with him numerous times.
well, yeah, I'm excited to see that evolution, and I hope it. I there's something about like even like the indie circuit. I've just started like kind of paying attention to. It's so fun. It's so fun, and there's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it, especially
Absolutely.
being there live and like the crowd. It's electric.
So I'm gonna plug this one. They're not cutting me a check or anything, but I don't know how far you live from Atlanta, but there is a
Hmm.
promotion called District Championship Wrestling. It's ran by the Diamond Sheik and I call the guy Pose Malone, Jameson Ryan, and Pose
Okay.
Malone's his Instagram name. But the Diamond Sheik and Jameson Ryan, both of whom were trained by Cody Rhodes at the Nightmare Factory, they've now started an indie promotion. So, from what I've seen, it's going very great. They're on their second show, and it's very impressive in my opinion. So I would definitely recommend that for you, and you know, see how it is. But I will tell you one thing though, Lacy. If I ever hear that you're debuting as a wrestler, we would definitely like to have you back on here. Talk about your experience and everything.
You got it.
Even if
You got it.
even if, even if it's just one match, we still want to talk to you. So,
Okay. Awesome.
but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kathy. I know because I know Kathy has a couple of questions for you. And Kathy, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Remy. What's up, Lacey? How's your day
Hey,
been?
Kathy. It has been good. I hope y'all. I'm not sure where you guys are geographically, but I hope everyone affected by this hurricane is safe and all right. It's pretty intense.
Definitely. I'm in Louisiana, so I'm known to go through a hurricane or two. But yeah, I definitely feel for them in Florida.
Yeah. Oh,
So
hey, Ollie.
that's pretty cool. One of your dad's uniform shirts for him. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
I am a huge Big Boss Man fan. I started watching wrestling when I was 4, so that was like in the 80s. So pretty much watched all his career. So it was awesome to have you on the show. So like kind of marking out
Oh,
a little
thank
bit.
you. That's awesome.
So
Thank
you
you.
said you said that you were born in '92. Did you actually you were in probably in school most of the time, but did you ever go on the road with the Big Boss Man? It would probably be in like the WCW days. Well, he did go back in like '98. He went to WWE. Where did you
Yeah.
go to any shows?
I was a very well behaved child. So my parent they said they couldn't take my sister anywhere, but like I was just very quiet and listened. But I actually traveled with him a lot, by myself, especially like you said, like during the late '90s, and early 2000s. The I was at the show where Rikishi, but I don't even remember what it's called, butt faced him. What's that move? But
Screw
that
face. The screw
that
face.
I he didn't tell me that was gonna happen, and I'm like standing like like where they walk out behind the curtain, like watching it, and it embarrassed me to my core. I didn't even want to talk to my dad. Like after that, like I'm like, I can't believe he did that to you. But then it's funny because on the flight home, we were actually like on the same plane, as Rikishi. Like he had a layover in Atlanta, I guess, and when we got off. But when Dad handed me my ticket, it was like he and Rikishi were in this seat, and then like I had the ticket. So of course he's like, I'm too big. We're too big to be sitting next to each other on the plane. So I had to sit next to Rikishi, like all the way to Atlanta. And I just remember being like, I hate you. Not really, but in like I was like 8. I'm like, you just put your butt in my dad's face. So I absolutely hated that, but it was still like, you know, I got to do a lot with him. And I feel really lucky that I got to spend time with him like that, just me and him. Especially because like he passed when I was 12. So there for several years before I was, traveling with him, whenever I could. And I would, you know, I had my school was very understanding, and so I would take my work with me. But I actually, when the WWF Cafe was still around, on Times Square, I got to go with him, and he brought me out like at the last 10 minutes of his little set for me to roast him. Because I hated when he lost, and he lost a lot. So he like, it's like, just be honest. You're just gonna tell him that you hate when I lose and that I suck. So that was really fun too. But he just kept it real. He kept it real with me, and it was. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun thing. I think he knew how fortunate he was, and I know that he felt blessed. It's like, um, you know, because he was the bad guy, and he liked playing the bad guy, and he was good at it. But like, it was something that he, included me, like, the card that he read to the Big Show after his dad passed away. I helped pick that out at CVS, and we wrote the poem in the parking lot and stuff like that. It's like, I'm playing this part, and he was very inclusive with like me and my sister and my mom. If um I think once there was a bit that he had to kiss one of the divas, and he was like, is that they asked like, is that okay, and I'm like, nope, absolutely not. So they cut that out. But um it's cool, and it's all, I love talking to fans, people who watched it from the beginning, because it really like feeds my soul, um because I didn't start watching wrestling until like probably 2016 at the Hall of Fame thing, it just was something that was too hard, I think, for me to go there. And so like in healing, like connecting with fans and talking about it, and also like, being able to laugh at some of like the sillier parts has been awesome. Just like, that the dog fight match where the dogs are running around pooping everywhere, and it's just been great and healing. And I love doing these podcasts and talking with you guys about it, and meeting people um who know, the history, and who, kind of help me catch up, um and learn more, and it makes me want to, watch more and enter that realm more. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem. Yeah, it's kind of cool in a way. Like, when people do pass on and you're kind of young like that, regular people have like they'll have might have some home videos, or they'll have like pictures and stuff. You actually can go back and watch your dad's matches like from the 80s, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's something that, people point out, like that I can't even put into words. Like it's really special. And I love that, even though, he might feed a dude a dog or drag some man's dad's casket off. It's a good family fun right there. So we all have a very dark sense of humor in the trailer fam. So have a good time all the time. I'm gonna take off my hat. It's getting kind of
So
dark out here.
a lot of kids that have grown up in wrestling, they go to these matches and they watch their parents and they're like they can't believe, like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, like what you said with Rikishi. What was the point where your dad talked to you about kayfabe, like, this isn't real, don't worry, dad's okay? What was the point where he talked to you, or did he ever talk to you about it?
I mean, I don't even think he ever had to talk to us really about it, because it was just like that from when I was born. And he was just a silly guy. Sometimes I look back on things and I'm like, oh my God, like, no, if it wasn't him doing it, he would have gotten in trouble. Like, he cut the sleeves out of all of his shirts, right? So he would go to Walmart and get like 3 black shirts, and he would cut the sleeves out of it, and then he would cut holes, eyeball holes in them, and give them to me and my sister to wear over our head, and take us into like the bank with him. And I'm like, thinking back, like, no one, just nobody could do that. Like, let me take my kids looking like bank robbers with my cutout shirt sleeves into the bank. It's just, um, so my boyfriend, his family is amazing, and he had a very like normal childhood and upbringing. It's like there is nothing normal about us, which is, it was fun, but there's also always a dark side to stuff, behind the scenes. But it was it was wild. I think really the problem I had, it was like I came of a certain age where I was a child, literally like in elementary school, and I would see these adults get so mad at him. Like, there were times when we had people throw batteries at us, like leaving the stadium, or that it was actually like too dangerous, for us to go. Like, um, and I would be like, y'all are dumb. Like, like I'm like 8 years old, and I know this isn't like that, but people really took it serious, back then. Like, they loved him when he was a baby face, and when they hated him. Um,
Yeah.
and, which is what he loved it. I mean, that's what they were supposed to do. But um, there were there have been some crazy fans who have lingered. Like I had this one guy, gosh, he has stalked me for years. Every time I get a new number, he somehow finds it. He was like um obsessed with dad, and then he was just so creepy. He started like trying to want to like date me when I was like 15. Like there are a couple of weirdos that linger around, so that used to make me mad, but like I have a better handle on stuff now. But yeah, there haven't been too many weirdos lingering. I'm sure that other people other wrestlers kids have experienced that too, but um it's an interesting life.
Yeah, the question was, like, did he tell you about kayfabe? But like, these fans don't know what kayfabe is sometimes, and they take it out of control, like just like you said, and that's pretty crazy. They get very passionate and very emotional. They take it to the next level where it doesn't really need to be, and that's pretty crazy.
Yep, I mean, well, like somebody explained it to me, like I mean, it was like that he wasn't just my dad. He was anybody's dad who, you know what I mean? It's like he never he loved his fans and he loved kids. So like I grew up, sharing him with the world. And I loved that. I loved that he made sure, like he always made sure that, you know, we knew where we came from. My family on was dirt poor. My dad's dad wasn't in his life. He was not a great guy. Um and you know, my family like honestly, it really was taking a big chance when he sat down in his boss's office and said, I guess I'm a wrestler. I mean, I don't think he even knew how big he was gonna get. So it's really like, a, to me like a God thing. But yeah, he always knew how fortunate he was, and he liked to positively impact other people's lives. And that's, behind the scenes. And sometimes he just did stuff without even expecting anything. We were in New York. It was winter, and it was my first time really seeing homelessness like that. And there was this man who was just covered up in garbage bags, just trying to stay warm. And I think my dad just like saw me look at him, like, because I'd never seen anything like that before. And he literally took the leather jacket off of his back, woke the guy up, gave it to him, and just handed him a wad of cash and never said anything else about it. We never talked about it. Um, and that's stayed with me forever. And it's something I think about a lot is, what's a good man but a bad man's teacher, and what's a bad man but a good man's job. Doing things without expectation of acknowledgement, like without having to post it on Instagram, for clout. It's he was a really good person. Um and that incident in particular, like I said, is one that has stuck with me my whole life. And I hope to leave that impression on my kid, and my nieces and nephews as well. Is we do good things and you don't even have to talk about it.
That's awesome. So, you said you went on the road a few times with Big Boss Man, and so like Stephanie McMahon talks about, Andre the Giant was her best friend, going on the road and stuff like that. And you mentioned Rick Steiner, and you mentioned Rikishi. Did you have like wrestler friend, all the wrestlers as friends while you were growing up on the road?
I loved Ron Simmons. He was one of my favorites. Scotty Too Hottie. We were like, he was so fun. He was just great. Of course, Terry Runnels. She's my second mom. I call her, but uh, China actually. I got to spend quite a bit of time with her, and she was fantastic. She was so nice. And one thing I remember specifically is that she like hated Taco Bell and would like go on rants about how much she hated Taco Bell for some reason. But everyone in the Steiners, like their family to me, like Rick has been so good to me like my whole life. And let me see, I spent a lot of time with Chris and Nancy Benoit, and then there were a lot of wrestlers actually lived kind of in the Atlanta, around Atlanta. So and there were, gosh, I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, but I did get to spend a lot of time with other wrestlers, and especially like wrestlers' kids. Like Terry has a wonderful daughter about my age named Dakota, and then of course the Steiners. They're my cousins. It's Uncle Ray and Uncle Rick, and we had a lot of fun with the Steiners growing up. So I had a great childhood, and a lot of good memories of those people.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, WCW is based in Atlanta, so of course you're in Georgia too. So yeah, that was probably neat. They probably hang out on the weekends and stuff, and it's probably awesome.
Yeah, sorry it's so dark, y'all. I'm like outside. I'll walk
Yeah,
around to
it's
some light.
about that time to get dark. Yeah, it's getting
Yep,
dark around here too. So
it's getting
so
Halloween time.
oh yeah, yeah, starting to get colder and it's not as
I love
hot,
it.
that kind of thing. So like I said, I grew up watching Big Boss Man, and he's one of the few, like like a Roddy Piper and a Ted DiBiase that didn't win the world championship, which he should have, because like everybody loved him, and I loved him too. Like the some of the stuff like I liked, like the nightstick twirl he would do, that was pretty cool, and then he'd choke him with the nightstick, the short part
Yeah.
of it, like pin him up, like that was awesome. And then the slam he did for his finisher, like everybody does the big man slam now, but like when he did it, that was pretty cool. Like he would turn and slam them, and like talking about he'd also do like the punch when he come out of the ropes and punch people. Like that was awesome. Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, actually does that now, kind of, I guess, as a tribute to the Big Boss Man. So that's cool to see. So like, what
Yeah.
were your favorite memories of the Big Boss Man, like as a wrestler?
Um, that when he won the hardcore championship, that was awesome. That's probably my favorite match in memory, or whole like segment. Like him bringing home that belt, and there that's my favorite because I liked when he won. So, and then I also loved, I don't remember what match it was, but it was The Rock was like on a ladder or something, or he was up high and he was beating somebody up, and Dad came out and threw the nightstick to Rocky, and he caught it and he threw it back. He threw it again like 3 times, and it was like perfect execution. He caught it, but that's one of my other favorite like moments in his wrestling um, discography. Like I really like that. I actually need to. One of my friends told me what match it was. Like I need to go back and find that again, and watch it, because I absolutely love that, because I love The Rock. And actually, he and Dad's birthday is on the same day, so and he was on the road a lot on his birthday, so I would make dad and Rocky a card and send it with him. But yeah, we loved that guy. So that was, I liked his the Survivor Series matches with Stone Cold also. So I liked those.
Awesome. So, so he, Big Boss Man was in WWE in the 80s. Then he went to WCW, and then he came back to WWE for around the Attitude Era in 1998. And the big change he had was he went from the traditional like blue outfit that he wore in the 80s to like whole SWAT mode like black outfit. I have his figure hanging up on my wall with that SWAT figure, the
Oh,
all black.
nice.
Yeah, so like how weird was that? Like cuz everybody that knows the Big Boss Man knows that traditional blue uniform that he had. So to see him be like in the corporation and be like, pretty much protection for the corporation, and he's all like in this black SWAT outfit, like that's kind of like a culture shock almost. Like it was to me. I was like, "Whoa, like where did his uniform go?" So like how cool was it to see him like in SWAT gear?
You know what? My son, that was cool. It's hilarious that you say that because uh, Atticus, my son, just he's been like using the word iconic a lot, and so like he would say like that's iconic, like I really loved the black uniform, the black the SWAT like theme song, like that, like the hardcore, like it was very badass, if I'm allowed to say that. I really liked the bad cop gimmick a lot. It was fun because he took a break in between those, like you said, and was home a lot. So like for me, my the most memory I have is of him in the black uniform because I was so young when he had that uh the first one, the first
Yeah, he
gimmick.
was
So
he was pretty intimidating with the whole blue uniform, and then the black one. You're like, whoa, like he's even more badass. Like you couldn't think he could get more badass, but like with that whole black, you're like, look out, like whoa, I don't want none of you,
yeah, yeah,
So
he had a lot of fun with that.
yeah, I bet. Um, so he, of course, he passed away. Big Boss Man. That was one of the tougher ones. Like it's always sad when wrestlers die, but when you watch them growing up, like that was the tough one. And of course, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016, and you were there. So like, what was it being, watching your dad get inducted into the Hall of Fame? What was that like?
It was awesome. It was great to like. It's something like he passed, and like I never thought I would be around that again. You know what I mean? Like I got to talk to like some cameramen who knew him, like people behind the scenes, and just hearing stories and like there's like it's weird to say, but like there's a smell to it. Like it's like not a sting, it's like a must. Like I don't know, but it felt so good to like see it, like because things change, but somehow in like the industry, like we were saying earlier, has changed a lot, but it's it's still the same, in a lot of ways. And to see like or to connect with the camera people who like knew me when I was like a little kid, and like the people behind the scenes, it was really something special. And then of course talking with Stephanie and Steve Austin. I talked with him for a while, and I think he'd had a couple beers in him, but he had me by the neck like this and was like, he was just such a sweetheart. Like it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed every moment of it, and I was super happy that the Steiner brothers went in this year, and they got to experience it too. So it was just great. It was a lot of fun, and I think it was overdue. So And it's always, great for me to remember him with other people. So it's really special.
Yeah, I bet it was neat to be there, like amongst his peers and
Hmm.
like just all the different wrestlers and their families and their kids and everything too. Because like you're a wrestler, wrestler's kid, and I'm sure you like you said, you hang around with everybody, and that must have been a cool atmosphere. I've been to what was it, 2018? I went to the Hall of Fame, so that was pretty neat. And then I was actually at the SmackDown this year. Saw the Steiners get inducted in person, so that
Oh,
was pretty cool to
nice.
watch. Yep. So that was awesome. They're big on my childhood list too. Like watching the Steiners. They're pretty awesome. So yeah, the Hall of Fame's pretty neat. It's gotten, they kind of got a rhythm to it now. It used to be like really really long with like everybody's
Hmm.
speeches and stuff. But it's interesting to hear like stuff you didn't know as a fan, like the backstage stuff and the on the road stories. And Undertaker this year was another good one. Like his speech was really
Hmm.
good. It's like for a man that didn't talk, like for his gimmick, like he sure is a good
Yeah.
motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Like who would have
He's
thought,
great. And I love seeing, like, they really involve their families. Like, it's become like Miz and Maurice, like, and their girls, like, it's, especially like the Hall of Fame thing is very family oriented, and it's just, I'm glad that they do that. I really am. It's it's a nice thing. And it's very feel good. So, and they have, like, whenever you, like, we went, they have like all the legends sit together. And I don't think I officially met uh any, well, the Von Erichs, their Carrie's daughter is named Lacy too. So we got to ride the bus with like Sergeant Slaughter and Hacksaw and Deborah and the Von Erichs. And Dad was super close with Carrie. I learned from my mom. And it's, there's a lot of tragedy, but somehow in the midst of it, it's like, you know, a really special community, especially like, I think as like wrestlers, kids connect and, um, share with each other. And it's a lot of, you know, like they understand, in a way that most people, don't, obviously. But it's really special, to have that community, and that WWE is honoring, the wrestlers of the past and keeping their legacy and their names alive.
yeah, what's
So I
neat
love to see
is
that.
it's sad when wrestlers or just anybody passes away, but the cool thing is they stay alive in the memories and people's hearts that are still alive. Like as long as they talk, you talk about them, they're still pretty much alive. I mean, of course, they physically died, but
Right.
they live on in people's hearts and minds that knew them or that saw them. So like that's pretty neat too. Like he's still here. Like he's still, we're still talking about him. So
Yeah.
he's still good, still
It
memorable.
still blows my mind, that, people want to talk about him, and I love to talk about him, and I'll talk to y'all any day, anytime. But yeah, it's crazy, to think of like the impact that one person can have. And I'm not even just talking about, my dad, but like, I have a good friend who runs a, a fan page for Mr. Perfect, and he does such a great job with it. But it's like he told me that growing up, you know, I'm not, that he was. It's not that he was raised by the TV or whatever, but it's like they were such strong figures, um, in the life of a kid. And it just, it's the nostalgia, it gets me every time. And it's fun. It's really fun have this community of people like the people who watch your podcast and um, interact. It's awesome. I wish I would have started Dad's Instagram sooner, but I've been humbled like by the response, and it's been a lot of fun. I got to get better at responding and like figuring out posting and all that, but I hope to do more. And I'm working on a book, so hopefully that'll actually like come to fruition here soon, and maybe we'll talk again once that's out.
Yeah, definitely. That was actually my last question. Do you have anything to plug? If you said Instagram for him, does he have new merch maybe or something, or like something you're doing, or even your son's like into wrestling now too? So you can have
So
the
you can
floor and
follow
plug whatever you
his.
want.
Yeah, I asked him. I'm like, "Do you want to come and say hey on the podcast?" And he was like, he's just too busy with the animals that he caught um, to be bothered with it, which cracks me up because he's really funny. But yeah, you can follow Dad's Instagram. It's just Big Boss Man WWE, and hopefully we'll have some merch coming out. But yeah, and I am working on a book. It's not quite ready, but y'all will know when it is. But yeah, that's about it. I don't have too much going on yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, awesome. So before I turn it over to Remy to close out the show, just want to say thank you. It's been an honor to have you on the show. Coming from a huge Big Boss Man fan from the '80s. Like I said, I have his figure hanging on my wall. I'll probably post it to Instagram when this is over, plugging the show and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
you need to DM me, Kathy, DM me after this, so we can
okay.
talk. Um, so I can, because I would love to send you something.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an honor. Like I said, big fan. Been an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah.
I'm glad Remy's got this legacy, Lariats and Legacies thing going because it's been awesome. Chatting with all these people that I'd watch it in the '80s and on. Big wrestling fan, still am. So I wish nothing but the best for you and your family. And Big Boss Man's legacy is still going, and we're gonna keep it going with podcasts like this and having you talk about him. And this has been really fun. So thank you.
Lacey, thank you very much for
Thanks,
actually.
Kathy. It's a great meeting you.
Great meeting you too.
Thank you very much, Lacey. I just gotta say thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We really and truly appreciate it, and also thank you to your dad for all the matches and memories that he gave us. He was definitely a big part of my life too, and I'll always remember hearing that cool song "Hard Time" and him running to the ring, and just dishing out justice and whatnot. You know, we really and truly are grateful for this. I just have one more question. Let's say if what would you tell some little boy or little girl who is, or anybody else who, let's say they're like in the same situation where their parents just got hired by the WWE and or AEW, and they're gonna be in the spotlight. What advice would you give that young girl or young boy, like what they should expect and so on?
Don't forget where you came from. Trust your intuition and treat other people the way you want to be treated, because what's that saying? You meet people on the way up that you're going to meet on the way back down. Just, you know, stay true to yourself, and yeah, follow your gut, trust your intuition, get a lawyer, make sure you have a
Aw-
lawyer review your contracts. So
Awesome.
that's
So for
probably
those
about it.
So for those of you that just heard, you got some advice from the daughter of a WWE Hall of Famer, former hardcore champion, former tag team champion as well. So you got a little advice from somebody who's been in that situation as well. So Lacey, I just gotta say, once again, thank you very much. You really and truly appreciate it. We hope this is actually a bit of a limited series. It was just something that, came out of our heads and we were like, let's just give people, stories because we interview all types of people, referees, not just wrestlers, but referees, managers, ring announcers. Kathy is still pulling on my shirt to get the guy that does the catering at the back on the show. I don't know where she's with that.
Hey, there's interesting stories about food too. People want to know.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. If the guy at the corner store starts making sandwiches for the local indie promotion here, I'll definitely have him on the show. Uh, but once again, Lacey, thank you very much. Before we actually, since you are interested in doing, since you're trying to do more podcasts, I know one more that you could probably do, and I can also put in a word for you. I can put in a word with them if you're interested, and see because their guy, one of my good friends, Salvador Santoyo, he actually is a huge fan of your dad's as well too. As a matter of fact, your dad was the first wrestler he saw. I believe he was in the first match he saw in when he became a wrestling fan, and he's been a wrestling fan since
Oh,
he was started watching.
awesome.
I think he started watching in 1991, and to this day, he's still a wrestling fan, going to the shows and everything. And I can always, I mean, if you're interested, I would definitely try to. It'd be cool if you could be on the show as well. You know,
Yeah,
um,
man. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I know we'll continue to DM and stuff, and it's great meeting the both of you. And yeah, I look forward to watching some more podcasts, getting that caterer on. I'm gonna go back and listen to one you did with isn't it Kelly? Slaughter, Sergeant Slaughter's daughter. I'm excited to listen to that one and just keep doing what you're doing. I think this is great.
yeah, honest thanks. I
So
really
I'm
appreciate that because I was like, what if this doesn't work out? What if and then some people are like, what I was nervous is like, I hope they don't think I have any agenda because I just want to like give people, I just want to hear the stories and have the viewers, hear the stories from, you know, those relatives themselves that experienced, what was going on. So yeah.
yeah.
Um, and like I said, I try to make us like, we try our best to, you know, for lack of a better term, like be like one of the best podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to. So we're trying. We're
Yeah.
just coming up
Keep
with
doing what you're doing. It's awesome. So and
so
I really appreciate y'all having on.
so
Oh man, I gotta play.
before we shut it down, before we shut the show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to
Um,
find out more about the Big Boss Man,
so
merchandise,
I'm
all that?
on I'm on Instagram is really all I do. My personal handle is Lacy with two A's, Abilene. And then of course you can find me at Big Boss Man WWE. Hey Atticus, say hey. Hey.
Hello, Atticus.
He's into something, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a great night, and I look forward to talking to y'all again. And Kathy, don't forget to message me.
All right, I definitely will.
Awesome. So with that being said, once again, if y'all are looking for memories of the Big Boss Man, to get some hopefully get some merch, that new book that's coming out, follow this young lady. She's doing great things, keeping her father's memory alive. A great man, Big Boss Man. We miss you, man. With that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My stomach is rumbling and my eyelids are getting heavy. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Kathy Knight, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, all things Paige and Becky Lynch, and find out what are the best eateries in New Orleans, Louisiana?
So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows? Maybe you'll hear me say something cool. You can find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue, and you can also find me on Facebook at the Remy Blue as well, and also on Instagram at the Remy Blue, and on Facebook as the alias Remy Blue. And our podcast is on social media. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. We're also on Spotify. We also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. So make sure you check us out. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And also, we are on YouTube where we have a lot of cool interviews like this one, our first ever Lariats and Legacies episode with Frances Coage, the daughter of Bad News Brown, and Kelly Slaughter, the daughter of Sergeant Slaughter. So check us out on YouTube. All you gotta do is go on, type in Ringside Society, and you'll see that sweet, cute man. It just amazes me so much. Dark blue and light blue, yin yang sound with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody to tune in live tonight to watch us. Thank you very much. We try our best to be one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to. To those of you that are going to listen later on, when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really, truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Go to Corral and Kathy Knight at Cafe Du Monde on their buy one, get one free special. We're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We ain't stopping. Well, with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society are very well and aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. Well, we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for former WWE Hardcore and WWE Tag Team Champion, WWE Hall of Famer, the Big Boss Man, and his awesome daughter, Lacy Traylor. What type of
Thanks,
podcast?
everybody.
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back next week with another impressive episode with another impressive guest. But until then, we just want you to do 4 favors for us. Not too much, just 4. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.